That's item. No.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Would you please stand and join me in saluting the flag on this September 21st? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before everybody sits down, we'd like to have a moment of silence. We've had a pretty incredible month in that we have lost Pete DeForest and we have lost Tom Russell, both from the Clove. Many of you very close with both those gentlemen. And we have this wonderful young man who's, I think he's 28 years old, Matt Wapshanak, who was injured quite severely at the neck about 4 weeks ago now, who still hasn't gotten home yet, but who's still being cared for and will need a lot more care. And we just want to have a moment of silence and for all three of those people. All right, thank you, everybody. Please be seated. All three of those people have very big impacts on the town in different ways. It's amazing. Now we're going to talk about Pete DeForest again in the future because he, at a different meeting, we're working on a kind of an overview on his life because I think we were talking, he held every position you could have in this town while working out in the fields for Ray Vale. And there's some wonderful stories. So we thought some of the residents, especially some of the newer ones, would like to hear more about the way life used to be here. When it was, mostly everybody was farming. So that's coming in the future. And
The only job he missed was working at the recycling.
I'm sure he could have had that now.
If Zelfeld hung on, he would have been there.
And what about Tom Russell? He was you knew him. I mean,
Oh
he was
yeah,
a
I've known him
Clove-
for almost 40 years. He worked at the Clove Valley Rod and Gun Club. Remember the Unionville Fire Department for many years. A very wonderful guy.
Yeah,
Died way too young.
way too young, right?
And yeah,
Is he your cousin?
Yeah, first cousin.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh.
Well, you're lucky then. He was a great guy,
Very fortunate.
all around.
Yeah. And then Matt Wapshanak, we'll talk a little bit more about him when we talk about Oktoberfest.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, thank you, everybody. At this moment, we need to actually, I apologize. We need to have an executive session about potential litigation. And so I'd like somebody to make that motion.
I will make that motion.
There a second?
Second.
Okay, we're going to go into executive session. Won't take long. Just an update. If you guys don't mind, there's other guests out in the hallway that would love to talk to you. And then Andrea is going to come and let you know, or Mr. Treadwell when we're finished, okay?
You should tell Frida to shut off the hearing aid.
You need to stay.
Make a motion to come out of
Wait,
executive
wait,
session.
wait. There, now we go. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we come out of executive session and resume normal order of business.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so there was nothing done, just discussion. We're all caught up. At this point, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the minutes from July 20th and August 7th.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of approving the minutes from July 20th and August 7th, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that motion carries. The minutes are approved. And I know we've got August 17th, we'll have in our next work session. All right, at this point, town supervisors report. There's been an awful lot going on, as you know, from a financial standpoint. I'd like to say we have a cash flow report. We're at 111, so we're 11% over budget for revenue, which is a good thing. And we're at 99% of our expenses budgeted for the year. And we are looking in the middle, we're in the middle of well, we're more than in the middle, we're almost finished with the budget, the first round, and we've got to tweak some things when the board meets to review it. We'll be looking at that. All the department heads information is in. So the budget is coming along, and we'll have another session to discuss it and then make it available. I would say that we got our AIM payment, which is the state aid that we get every year. It's $10,500, but we got that, which is a good
Great.
thing. We got our CHIPS money paid to us this year.
Oh,
This month, which was great. So we've got $192,000 for the highway department reimbursed, and then we're still waiting for that. I think it's 29 in that POP pay. Yeah, it was like almost 30 grand. So that's coming in, and if not, by next week we'll start hunting for it because they approved that. So we should get that. The FEMA grant that we have been tortured over since last July, it was a year ago in July. I really don't understand FEMA. I know I heard we have the biggest government in the whole world now. So maybe they're having trouble tripping over each other, but they have been first with Ed and then subsequently with me. Every time they tell me, I say goodbye to the person. 3 weeks later, they call me back again for something else. So I think the last goodbye might have been it. And if that was, then if I don't hear from them again, then we'll get a check of some amount. It's at least 20,000 or more.
I hope so. With all your
from-
effort.
Yeah. So, well, even and for that, all those repairs that you put out. So anyway, those things are in the works and are coming. I did want to talk about Oktoberfest. Let me pass this out. Sorry. Pass this and share with Ed. I didn't make enough copies. Sorry, Ed. This is a draft because I have no idea what the expense for the beer was yet. So, which I guess I'll get those numbers tomorrow. So this is preliminarily, but I think it was really interesting to us. Everybody, you should know that we had the largest crowd in Time Warner Park we've ever had before. It was 1,920 people. And it's the place is so spread out and so nice with all the groups, So last year we had between 12 and 1,300. 2 years ago, we had 1,848. We thought, oh my God, we had 1,800 people. You couldn't feel it then either. But this weekend, it was the biggest crowd ever. And one of the ladies came into work this weekend. She goes, how many did we have at time? How many did we have for Oktoberfest? Like 250 people? We were like, oh my God, it was 1,900. It's just amazing how you can't tell when people are that spread out. And all the reports were excellent. There were a lot of smiles on people, just like they loved the balloon festival, but most of those people were out of towners. This is really a nice thing because everybody looked familiar. It just felt like there were a lot of locals there and they had good times. So I think that staff was pleased with the amount of people that were there, and the processes seemed to work well. The tables were great. And I think most importantly, people felt good about the fact that Matt Wobschinak's best friend and brother, two brothers, his dad, his other cousin, they were all there.
Yeah, they worked.
Ed, you were there. And I know Matt worked for you for like 5 years, you said, right? So that wonderful young man who had suffered that injury, they were all there working for tips, and the story got out, and I think that everybody was happy with the results, and it was a good day. So
Very good.
yeah, I think people enjoyed it. And so I think the staff felt good about having them. So that's that for Oktoberfest. I think on every level, it would be a big success. Once we know the final numbers, I'll get those to you. Once we know what the beer costs, I'm only estimating. The other thing is I went to the Chamber of Commerce breakfast this morning and heard the discussion about Oktoberfest. Now, just by way of comparison, they had over 20,000 people here last Labor Day weekend. And they've got all that staff and all those people. We could never handle that. Like, we don't even ever want to go over 2,000 is our
Yeah.
max. They had, and some people buy tickets that don't come, and they're using tickets, right? But the interesting thing about their event was what it brings to the whole area in the way of money regarding tourists coming from other parts and coming to the Hudson Valley.
Mhm.
And they had a lot of statistics about, the number of hotel room stays, the number of
Yeah.
restaurants that they had over 500,000 hits on their site for the page for the events and what was going to happen when.
Where did they hold the event?
In Timor Park.
Sorry
The
about
balloon-
that.
I'm talking about-
She said
Talking about
October.
the
It's
balloon
Balloon
fest.
Fest.
You said October.
Yeah, it's Balloon
Oh.
Fest she's
It's the
talking
Balloon
about.
Oh, I
Fest.
switched up
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah,
Okay.
we
Yeah,
held
Balloon
Oktoberfest
Fest,
here
yeah.
too, but not 20,000
Okay.
people. So yeah, anyway, it brought so much to the local community, according to the sponsors, who are sponsor it because they're recipients, but the restaurants, the hotels, the the B&Bs, all that stuff, the numbers were phenomenal. And I can safely report, because our head constable is here, that he'll back me up, that there were 4 lost sets of parents.
Not kids.
Nope, the kids ran right to the constables. Kids that were found every time the kids were holding somebody's hand, that was the constable. 4 lost sets of parents, that was it. And then 1 slightly inebriated person or somebody all weekend. That was it. Who got a ride home and left their car here. So I would say with that many people, it was so well run with so much that was a big success. And they're happy. The Hudson Valley was happy. So how about that? All right. And I would say that the rest of our very important information is going to come out through the evening. So I'd like to turn to the town board member reports. Councilman Welsh.
Yeah, okay. Last month I've been quite busy on this town center zoning changes.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention it.
Meetings and
Big.
things related to that, and also with interviewing candidates for our library trustees.
Yeah.
So
It's on there too.
2 worthwhile activities.
That's been 6 weeks in the making.
Yeah, and also I helped at the pool one Sunday when we had issues with the old 30-year-old tank that's about to collapse, but luckily we're done with it.
Yeah, you got it through the last pool weekend. So people were happy about that. Thank
Yep,
you.
park
Last day.
staff nursed it through the last
Yeah,
week.
you and Vincent, that was great.
Mhm.
Thank you for that. Councilman McGivney?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Councilman Derlin?
Just about the same as John, working on zoning and
The zoning, I just want to show everybody this. This is the town center zone book that we have gone through and that is now in the hands. It's been very tedious work, but you guys have all done a great job. A lot of insight. And we had a good work session where we discussed it and you guys had great comments that were all added to that. So thank you. Councilman Gusikoff?
It was great to witness the swearing in of the trustees.
Mhm.
Mention that.
Okay, we'll mention that
It's
later.
on the agenda.
Okay. Skipping ahead.
No, but you've done a lot of other things. You're working on the recycling center booth, which is.
We're actually working with Jake. Planning
Next week, now that we're done with the Oktoberfest, so moving forward with that, and I'm sure that will be in place prior to the snowfall, so there'll be some happy faces there with some.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it's
Yeah.
attractive.
Yes, it'll be very nice, so.
They were here today for their
Okay.
budget meeting, and they're very excited about that.
Good.
They might
We'll be
actually
very
have
happy.
room for a filing cabinet or something.
2 filing cabinets.
It's big. Do you know where, if everybody would like to see it, why don't you tell them where you put it?
Yes, so we-
Temporarily.
temporarily it's down at Parks, right down the hill, and we're in the process of renovating it to turn it into some type of like an observation type of outdoor office that can instruct and oversee the recycling center and give it a better type of work environment for the guys that work the recycling center. So
Yeah,
that's what we're doing.
they're very excited about it. What'd you say?
Flatbed,
Well, Doug,
you're moving it.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah,
Oops.
surprise, surprise, yeah,
Oh,
If you need me to, let me know.
okay.
speaking of need, that flagpole, we need to get that flagpole up. I'm gonna leave it in your hands, guys. Let us know when it's ready. We're gonna come and clap. And actually, we're searching for the flag. It's with the, oh, wonderful, Andrew, thank you. So we're, that'll be next on our list, okay? Get that up and maybe we do it the same weekend, you put that attendance booth in.
Sure.
Maybe that would work.
We can
Okay.
Put it in maybe same weekend that we put the attendance booth. Yeah, install
Put it on the same tree.
it. Yeah.
Okay, that's a great plan. Thank you. Superintendent, would you like to report now, sir? Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so we're still working on catch basins throughout the town. Did some on Meadowview, Cooper Drive, Valley Lane, Cunningham. And as a result of what we're finding with these catch basins, I believe myself, the town engineer, and the supervisor are working on a new standard for new roads, any new roads built in this town.
Oh, excellent. Good.
So the next generation of town highway superintendents will not be dealing with failed catch basins.
Yeah, because Richie had to do those catch basins on Valley Lane and Cunningham already. They're
Yeah.
not that old.
No, so we're coming up with a new standard. We're
Good.
passing it through the engineer, the town's engineer, to get some of
Excellent.
his advice.
Mhm.
And hopefully it'll be better roads than what we have now going forward.
Good.
All right, we're also installing shoulder material on some of the new asphalt throughout the town. Repairing the never-ending potholes as we find them. And please, if you see them, let me know so we can fix them. And we're working on trucks on rainy days, getting them ready for unfortunate snow season. So that's pretty much it. Picking up dead deer every now and again, which I might just touch on quick. The highway department will pick up a dead deer on the side of the road. If the dead deer was off the road on your property, we cannot go back and get that dead deer. It's not for us to do. You've got to find a different source. We don't have the manpower. And quite honestly, if one of my guys get hurt picking up a dead deer on somebody else's property, I think it's a liability for everyone.
Sure.
So that was another thing that came up. There was a Facebook, social media thing, kind of smashing my department, smashed the county highway department, smashed DEC, smashed the state troopers, because nobody would help this individual with a deer that was 100 yards off the road that was decaying. And it wasn't, I think the agency should have done something, would have been DEC, but
They didn't do anything?
they didn't do anything. Lastly, we lost one of our guys. He moved on to a better position at another agency, so we were down a guy. So there's basically 3 men on our crew. So if something happens and you need us, please be patient. We will get there, but we are understaffed, so we're trying to find another guy. That's pretty much all I got.
So I'm just curious, what would Mary Jean Calvi say that you're to do with a dead deer in the middle of your yard if the
I
highway
didn't
can?
even ask Mary Jane.
I did, you know what she said?
No, what'd she say?
Bury.
I was gonna
She
say.
said that's what they did in the old days.
Well, I'll say one thing for the residents. There's a disease that's called chronic wasting disease.
Yes.
So if you do have water on your property and a deer is in the stage of having this chronic wasting disease, which only lasts 3 or 4 days, if you do call the DEC, they will want to come and check it to monitor it, just to keep tabs and numbers on it to see how the disease is forming, or what format is that, or what areas it's affecting and not affecting. So you can call the DEC for that. I'm not saying they're going to pick it up, but they do want to be informed of that.
Yeah, it's a good, very good point.
Yeah.
Excellent, thank you, gentlemen.
Department of Conservation. I think their main office is in New Paltz.
Yeah, South Point Farms.
Yeah.
Okay, Does our town clerk have a report you'd like to share?
Yes, I just wanted to mention it is school tax collection time, which the town does not take. So please make sure you send them to the appropriate school district. We've had a few resident questions with that. Speaking of DEC, it's still licensing sales season, and they close the dough management tags at the end of this month, and they'll reopen a limited selection in November. So if you want to get them, please come to my office before September 30th. That's all I have.
Thank you. Great. Okay, are there public comments on agenda items?
I mentioned this with the last meeting, the closure of the meetings. I see this in the agenda item on the capital project list. So we're just see how far that's coming from our first report and how far it's going.
Any other comments? Okay, thank you. Now we're going to go to our board and commission and council reports. And our first one up is our CAC. And that is Rhonda Sundloff, who's going to report for the city. We need a chair. Would somebody mind grabbing a chair for Rhonda? Feel free. No, they've got one closer, Rhonda. They'll get it. Thank you, Jake. And then if you don't mind, I'm just going to, I guess we should turn this.
Okay.
Yeah, because this volume is on. That way they can hear your report, because I know you've got some interesting things to share.
All right. So again, my name is Rhonda. I work with the Conservation Advisory Council, and we are continuing to work through for the certification with the town as far as the conservation certification. So we have a few more months to go on that. Going great, and lots of good feedback into the team. We are continuing to work on planting pollinator gardens. We had talked about this, I think, last meeting, also continuing to make some progress and look at some options for the town there. Part of the reason for being here today is to highlight two upcoming activities. So one is actually next weekend for stargazing at Timor. So we'll put this up for the camera here.
We'll email that out too, and put it on the website.
Fabulous. Thank you, Betsy. That is on Saturday, October 1st, and that is intended to start at 6:30. So there is a rain date for the next day. We are very excited to have the Mid-Hudson Astronomical Society. They come with great recommendations across the Hudson Valley, really looking at questions from the public and trying to get folks involved and thinking about how they interact with their environment. So that's stargazing, and that's October 1st. The second area that I wanted to highlight for today is actually also in October. So this one is our October 15th event. We mentioned it last week as well. Really looking at planting trees, especially replacing trees that have either fallen or been damaged over time. So the team here has all been trying to keep count, and so appreciate very much the town's input there on how things have been replaced over time or needed to be need to be replaced. So at this point, we are looking for volunteers on the 15th. So that's a Saturday. Really trying to get a group of folks together, including our Girl Scout teams, including Boy Scouts, including really the entire community kind of coming together. So we know that we have, based on last year's input and experience, a lot of hands make light work. We are expecting to plant somewhere in the neighborhood of 115 trees. So I think last year we were at about the same number, and it makes for a really great day. Everybody was very happy by the end of the day, all smiles. So that was great to see, especially with so many kids getting involved in how their community comes together.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Yeah, very nice.
Big success. So we'll send both of those out on email, and then we'll post them.
Great.
All right. So next weekend, stargazing in Timor. That's going to be,
Yes,
I mean, it's beautiful down in that bowl at night. That would be fun.
absolutely.
All right.
Sounds
Thanks,
good.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
setting it up, you all. We appreciate it. So last year, I think it was 119 trees, but between highway and parks this year, we're down to 115. So it's a slightly lower. but it's a lot. We lose a lot of trees every year. So this is a wonderful initiative. And I think it's great. The Girl Scouts step up and I know Brian Skorlik is again organizing the purchasing and delivering of the trees. I did not tell you this, but we have $875 in a bucket from all the donors from last year, because the soil and water, the Dutchess County Conservation District paid for the trees last year, our initial year, and we didn't know that. So the $875 that people submitted, I think Julia was asking for $5 a tree and the town was getting checks and we put it in a separate budget. So there's $875 to buy trees with this year. So anyway, it's been a really wonderful initiative. So thanks. All right, next up, we have our departmental reports and we're going to move over to Parks and Mr. Jake Gosnell, our Parks Manager. You're going to cover recreation too, I believe. We'll do it's Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Or you can talk about the Balloon Festival if you want. All right, Mr. Gosnell.
Hey, so yeah, I mean, the first thing I wanted to touch on was Balloon Fest. Because the Hudson Valley Balloon Fest, Labor Day weekend was awesome. Went over really well, and I really have to say that Frank and his team do a really bang up job. And I mean, by the end of the day on Tuesday afterwards, there wasn't a speck of garbage. They had everything cleaned up. It looked like they had never been here, which is really high praise for 20,000 people coming through, which is awesome. So I really appreciate the fact that they're so on top of it, and I'm glad it went so well for them. Like John mentioned, he came down and helped us out, helped Vincent out one afternoon or one morning.
Yeah.
Right at the end of the season.
Yeah, the last week.
We'll talk about it later, like the pool filter tank. But we were able to limp it through the last couple of days, which is great. And then Oktoberfest, like Betsy said, we had a record number of people here. From my point of view, it went super well. The staff was great. You guys all came in and helped out, which was awesome. And it went super well. Everybody really seemed to like all the games. The barrel racing went over really well. The Stein hoisting was really popular this year, which was great. And we've all been kind of brainstorming. And even today, our rec director, Maggie, and I had a conversation. She's got some really good ideas for next year as well.
Excellent.
So
There were 17 barrel racing teams.
yeah, which is crazy.
When you think about it.
Yeah, it is.
It's
Very
a lot of
competitive.
people,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people are having fun, which is great.
Yeah.
And I want to thank Will Woolley as well. He not only did he come in and pour for Matt and get everybody involved in that cause, which is great, but he also helped out with the hay for the barrel racing. He's who provides that, so it's really awesome.
I wanted to add one thing I forgot to tell you all at the chamber breakfast this morning in front of everybody in the room. I don't know, there was 200 people there, 250 from the chamber. Frank Costello was going through those stats that I mentioned, a couple of those, and then he said that he pulls into Timor Park and he goes, and the park guys are happy to see me, and he goes, I can't figure out why, because it's so much more work for them. But he said they are the best park crew. He said they keep that place like a golf course. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's a joy to work with them.
Oh, nice.
I'm sorry I didn't mention that before. That's a really nice compliment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I appreciate that very much. We
Yeah, nice.
are. But that's kind of
Yeah, we'll talk about the other when we get to the new business.
absolutely.
Okay, all right, thank you. And then I think recreation summer camp was a big success. Did we do that already?
I think we did that last time.
Okay,
But yeah,
August
it
17th.
was great. Yeah,
Yeah, all right,
awesome.
wonderful, thank you. All right, Councilman Welsh, would you like to read the constable's report?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Constable report for the month of August 2022. Constables patrolled approximately 614 miles of town roads, including all properties, filling the Explorer with 15.8 gallons of gasoline. The 3 town court dates total 25 cases on the docket, with 16 actual appearances, and 5 cases were dismissed for failure to prosecute. In parentheses, officer failed to show for court. There were no issues to report. Constables reported the following during patrols. On 8/21, rails removed from fence at Trail K, officer replaced rails. Large amounts of trash left in Timor parking lot along tree line, no officer contact. 8/29, 2 dirt bikes at Equestrian Center drove into the woods as officer approached. Additional note, 819, explore oil change, tire rotation, and New York State inspection performed. Respectfully submitted, George Treadwell, Constable in charge.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Councilman McGivney, would you like to read the animal control report?
Animal Control Report, August 2022. During the month of August, there was one lost dog, one found dog, and one unclaimed dog who was brought to the HVARS Hudson Valley Animal Rescue Shelter, submitted by Mary Jean.
Thank you, sir. All right. Oh, I forgot to pass these out here, just for your record. These are the upcoming events. I don't think this is on new business, an old business or new business, but I did want to mention, because recreation just happened, that we've got stargazing, and then the Gaelic Festival, which is an outside rental, but there are a lot of people that will be there on October 8th. That's an Irish festival. They were here last year. They did a nice job. We've talked about that already. Halloween movie night, reforestation of Unionvale. And then one thing that I wanted to mention with our town clerk, we were talking about, and input is appreciated here. We're talking about having a town of Unionvale garage sale, because we have so much stuff in that hall closet and in other closets that we're keeping. We have, for example, some things that may be of value to people. We have those old telephones that we no longer use, that weren't bad phones, but we just didn't have the system to support them.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of stuff in there, and we were thinking that it might benefit residents if we had kind of a garage sale and put stuff out. Maybe those wine glasses from Oktoberfest, there's 252 wine glasses that nobody ever buys. We've had them for 2 years now. Instead of selling them for $5, we'll put them like $2 or whatever you want, but to recover the cost of the glasses or something. But I think it'd be nice if we could put everything out, out on the sidewalk here, on the driveway, and let people come in and look, because we'd love to get rid of the stuff in the closet. I'm not really sure why we're holding on to it, but it might be valuable to somebody. So you guys like that idea?
Sure.
You could bring anything in all the closets, and recreation, the parks guys might have stuff. But anyway, I wanted to mention that because we're thinking that that'd be helpful to everybody. We'll advertise that for the residents as well. Now we're going into old business, Furnace Pond Dam. The last time we spoke about this should have been probably, I think it was on the agenda August 17th. We're waiting for the boring test. So where we are with the dam is we've waited for a long time for the water to go down. We are going to have a boring test conducted by the company that our engineers hired to do that. Because it's like a 2-day job, they're inserting us into their much bigger jobs. It was supposed to happen in September, but I haven't gotten a date yet. But let's say it's late September, early October. We should have the results of a boring test shortly thereafter. Then we'll know the stability of the dam all the way down to the bedrock.
Yeah, that's
And then,
important.
and what it'll cost to fix it. And then we'll revisit the issue with the residents, and we'll show you what that will cost, and all the information that we get. So that's still pressing. We keep this on the agenda a lot, and anyway, it's inching along. Next up, I think a couple of the councilmen mentioned the land use moratorium. That is, we're very excited about, which I think we'll probably schedule a special meeting to vote on as soon as the language comes back from the planner. We have worked hard on setting new standards in our town center zone, design standards, lighting, street, everything. And then changing some of the rules in town center so that applicants that own property in there may actually develop them. It would be a good thing for the town to have any commercial revenue is good. And it would also give us, with the design standards, some, place to be proud of. I think some of the ideas of the landowners are quite good. So right now we finished all of our work. It's in the hands of the planner, who is redlining it so we can look at the legal language, and everybody's going to review it quickly after that, because it's probably something we were expecting, obviously, and then we'll vote on it. The county's been looking at it already. I expect the turnaround from them to be quickly, and then we'll quickly reassemble and remove the moratorium. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the plan there. I'll hear back from her soon, and then we'll gather everybody together. Playground at Godfrey Park. That is interesting, because We have 4 playground designers. And one of them is Miracle, the company that built Time Warner and did Godfrey, I guess, way
Years
back
ago,
when. I
yeah.
guess years ago, they were the only game in town.
Right.
Now there's a lot of companies that do this sort of thing. Some of them are very fancy. So anyway, we have 4 companies designing for the people, the residents. They created a wish list. When those 4 designs are together, we're going to probably, Jake, you and I will go back to the residents, review those designs with them, hear what they think. Anybody else is welcome, of course, but they had specific opinions, but I think it's exciting for them because as soon as those come in, which only 2 are in, so when the other 2 get in, the residents will be able to look them over and make a decision. We're going to review the capital projects list tonight with us as we go through some of the things that we're going to fix. That's it. I think that's been on every agenda too. As you know, we have the long-term lease for number 2, Time Warner Park Road.
Yes.
We have a 2-year lease. So that's started in September for 2 more years.
Good.
So that's a very good thing. Here you go.
We're up now, library trustees.
Yeah.
It was just great to,
Well, to give them the backstory, they don't know about that.
okay, so we inducted and we had the swearing in for the new library trustees. So they had their first opportunity to meet one another and to kind of get acquainted and figure out why we chose them to be the first board of trustees for the Unionville Library. They got a chance to discuss what their attributes are and how they could all help one another out, and it was exciting to see. And then in the future, we're going to pick a date that the residents can come in. We'll have a little reception and
Yeah,
you guys can meet them as well, and I think it'll be a very nice thing. And they were all very excited about it, so they're pretty passionate about being on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
So-
very competent group of people.
Oh, yeah.
They're a great group of people. So the backstory is we've spent since July 20th, when the town board voted to establish we authorized the establishment of a new public library. We have spent, what was that, 6 weeks or so more interviewing candidates that submitted their applications, asking, to be considered. Those interviews were terrific. A lot of very smart, passionate people. I think I mentioned this at the work session, that one of the comments I got was it was really nice to be involved in something that's so important, but they don't have to actually they don't have to run. It's not like an election where it gets kind of muddy and dirty. It's just a real honor, and they were thrilled. So after we finalized the vote, the town board members, as you guys know, it's a municipal library. Town board members appoint the trustees. We appointed and voted to extend from 5 to 7. So we have 7 trustees. They have 5-year staggered terms. The people are fantastic. They were, just what Councilman Gusikoff said, thrilled to meet each other last night. And that was a very brief oath-taking ceremony so that they could start their work. And if you mark on your calendars, on October 26th, we are going to have a proper reception that'll be much nicer, with the public invited, so that people can come and they'll be together again. And by then, they will have talked to each other a few times. And, the next step up for them is they have to prepare their own bylaws. They have to find a library director. They're going to get some training. It'll be a good thing.
Yeah.
So when you meet them, you'll be as impressed as we all were when we got them together. Some terrific experience there. The 2023 budget schedule, I passed that out to some folks. I know we have more of them. If anybody's interested, I'll put one on the bulletin board out there. Basically, with the budget schedule, we're going to put a tentative one. There's 3 versions of it. We're always tweaking it, but we'll put out the rough draft at the end of the month, and then the board constantly tweaks it as we find out. Like, I've still, to be honest, or straight with this, there's some couple of quotes we're still waiting for.
Right.
So they sometimes some of our companies kind of keep us at the end, like wait till the last minute to give us the quotes that we're looking for. So we are waiting for quotes, but anyway, it's coming together very nicely. We're worried about diesel fuel and all energy costs next year. As you know, we hit our full year's budget in July for both parks and highway. At some point, we'll be doing a budget transfer to compensate for that, but we don't want to do it too early. You have to do it more than once. So everything else looks good, but that is definitely an area of concern. All right, that's all for old business. Now as far as new business goes, we're going to talk about our projects. we have two things. Mr. Gosnell, do you mind coming up and joining us? Because both of these are in your area. And then we have others that we're still waiting for quotes on. We should talk in our special meeting, we should talk about your windows. That third quote, we're still waiting for. Yeah, that third lady never wrote back to me.
You're not gonna
Well, and that's the other thing. Sometimes we look at our capital projects list and a couple of them, you know, like the windows for the highway department, we want to get those done.
Yeah,
because
especially with the fuel prices, what they are.
yeah, it's just the
That's a
the
real-
leakage is terrible.
Yeah,
All right, now, we have another thing that we didn't put on the list, but I have to tell you, it's just, I think, well, why don't we start with the water tank, because everybody's reviewed that already.
Yep.
Right?
So last time we had spoken about the filter tank, the last thing we were kind of waiting for was to see kind of what freight would be on that to get it from Miami to here. I did reach out back out to Memphis Pools, and she was very nice enough in the beginning of September to order it out for me that day. Would have been $2,000 for shipping, which, I mean, on something that size, I kind of thought it was going to be a bit more, if I'm honest. Yeah, so it could go up from there, but you know, that's where they
Yeah.
quoted us.
We have reviewed this, and I think one of the points, just remember, is that this tank is from 1990.
Yeah.
And when you brought it to our attention, wasn't it a pinhole prick?
It was a little rust hole.
Yeah.
And since then, it is now the
Yeah,
size of a
it's-
small coin.
the whole area is so thin, it's just rusting from the inside out.
We
I'm
were
actually
lucky we
very
got to-
glad that you were able to go down and see what we were dealing
Yeah.
with.
Mhm.
Because, yeah, it's, you know,
Yeah, it was very informative.
Well, and it's great we got through the season.
it is. We were able to limp it through the season, which is awesome.
So we have reviewed this before, and obviously we've looked at it, and we know that the hole is growing,
Yeah.
and so if we vote on this, we're gonna vote on it now, but do you have any idea how long it'll take to arrive? Did they give you?
Well, it's at least 14-week lead time for build.
Okay,
So it would be after that. So it's going to be, you know, winter or spring.
okay. And then we have
But-
to work on the area to prepare it.
Yep, we would have
Yeah.
to take things apart, get the old
Yeah,
one
they're-
out, prep everything, and then drop. the
job.
new one. But
So when we last talked about it, I think that this is one of the things I'd like to overestimate on
Mhm.
for this, as I, you know, when we vote on things, I want to tighten up the capital
Yep.
projects. But when we vote on it, I mean, I think there was an estimate that one of the board members was thinking that the building repairs would be at least $20,000 to open up the space where it goes in, right?
Yeah, because I mean, we basically have to remove one wall in the roof. I mean, the nice thing is that the roof needs to be redone anyway at this point. So that is a good thing, but yeah, we would have to remove the roof and one of the walls to be able to get the old tank out, to get the new tank in. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think that that's a crazy number. I mean, we're
That's
gonna do
not-
all the work in-house, which saves us a lot by between, you know, myself and the guys being able to do it, but
Mhm.
yeah.
And is there a piece of machinery that's gonna haul it in? Didn't we talk about that before?
Yeah, between Perry and Ed, I think we have the equipment we would need
Oh, excellent.
to be able to take care of it.
Because it's like this big.
It's huge.
No, it's like taller than I am and it's much rounder than I am.
What's the weight of it?
I don't have the weight. No, I don't. I can figure it out.
Would you guess? I mean, it's heavy.
I would guess it's probably 2,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you know, obviously we'll
Yeah,
drain it of
sand
water
too.
and we can also take the sand out of it before we lift the, you know.
Yeah.
before we lift- It'll have the sand, the new one will have the sand out when it's delivered. So we can wait, we can get the sand out before we remove
Remove
it
the old
from
one.
the building.
What do we do with the old one?
Yeah.
Yeah, scrap it
So
at
if
the
we put-
highway, at the.
Yeah, if we
recycling
put it in the metal bin, just
Yep.
imagine how much money we'll get.
$3.
No.
So is the new one just as big as the old one?
It's the same exact
Same
tank.
size,
It's
okay.
the same, it is the exact same model.
Okay.
And that's part of the problem is we need apples to apples. It can't be, you know, if we get another tank.
Yeah.
Yes, we can get the same size, but it'll have different
Yeah.
inlets and
sure.
outlets and then we're
Configurations.
like
Be a nightmare hooking it
reconfiguring
up.
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, and it just makes sense to me to just apples to apples.
Sure.
Mhm.
So I think, I mean, if the, I think the way to do this would be to approve the price of the tank, because we got a specific quote on that.
Yep.
And then I think we're gonna have to give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room on both the shipping and on the construction cost. But if we vote on 20, it cannot go over 20. I mean, and I don't think it will with internal people, but otherwise we have to come back and re-vote on it
Yep.
and discuss it again. All right, everybody comfortable with that?
Yes,
All right, so it's gonna be a minimum of $52,000. And we're gonna give, in the wording of the motion, I'm looking at you, Councilman Welsh, because you're usually the first person to make a motion. In the wording of the motion, if you wouldn't mind giving a little wiggle room on the shipping,
Yeah.
that would work nicely, and then we can get this project underway for you. You guys agreeing with it?
Okay.
You feel comfortable? So here's the shipping here. This
so,
is
so the
21
tank is 29,000
Yep,
and they
Something like
estimate $2,000 for ship.
And then if you add, a little wiggle room there. and
Yeah.
then, Yeah,
All right, so, I would make a motion, we
We
spend,
need more than
Hang on,
20.
hang on one second.
Oh, for the building repair.
that was for the
flooring.
building
But we
repair.
want more than 20.
It's 29,000 for the tank,
Yeah.
20,000 for the building repair,
I mean,
and
the-
2,000 for the shipping, plus what, 20%, 25%?
I can go through and I can put together an entire materials list of what we'll be removing. And what we will probably need to do brand new. Like I
I would
know
say
that
we
just
do
the
that.
roofing itself,
Cost increase between now and spring.
yeah,
Yeah.
because that's the only thing that makes me nervous. If we have a 14-week lead time just to build it, and then we have shipping, we may not see it until springtime.
So you don't want to wait too late. We want to get the order in for the tank.
Yeah, we want to get
Yeah.
the order in for the tank, and then, I can create an entire materials list of everything we're gonna need.
So you want to
Price it
split it
out,
up? You
and
guys
then
feel
we're
comfortable
separate,
splitting it
yeah.
up?
I would.
Why don't you approve the tank and everything now?
So you can
That's what I
order-
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't you make that motion?
all right,
That's-
I'll
that
make a
sounds very
motion.
good.
We spend up to $33,000 for a new tank to be delivered to Time Warner Park, including shipping.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so a total of 33. Any opposed? No, that motion carries. $33,000 for the water tank and the shipping. And it'll be great. So the next meeting, if you could bring that list,
Yep,
we could put the order in tomorrow.
How's the rest of the system besides the tank?
everything else looks pretty good. The only thing that I'm gonna price out a little bit is right where it connects.
Fittings.
The fittings, I think
Mhm.
that's probably a good
Yeah,
idea to
pretty tight.
change
I would change them
while we're
now.
doing it. Exactly. But besides for that, everything.
They look good. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, the pump is interesting from year to year, but yeah, that's a more manageable thing. But yes, everything else besides that is in really good shape, actually,
Mhm.
considering the age of the system.
Yeah, it's a nice setup.
Great. Okay, so that's $33,000. All right, so we'll do the materials in the next meeting
Perfect.
in October. Okay, wonderful. Now, next up. So this is this has to do with flooring. Now. So this isn't one of those projects we've been tracking for years, like some of our others, like the Furnace Pond Dam and waiting for things out there. This is relatively new, but we cannot. Our hallway flooring, which is also 30 years old, we cannot get rid of that humidity or those stains. And when you walk out there, there are stains everywhere. The humidity is the cause because it's 30 years old, but also it was placed right on cement.
The flooring,
The carpeting right there.
it's not 30. We got all new carpeting here in around 2007.
Well, the housekeeper, and I always assume they know everything. The lady that was cleaning told me that the hallway was original, but the offices, that the reason they're a different color, all the offices, because they were done then.
Well, I thought we had gotten pretty much all new carpet.
But that, it doesn't match, so I kind of believed her, but I may be wrong, because we don't have any
Mhm.
record of it. But because she said, that's why these are blue and the hallway is brown, because they bought it at 2 different times. But so how old do you think the hallway is?
I think it's 2007 or newer. I mean, wouldn't we have records?
Well, I don't know that how it could be that, how it could be that messed up and be that new.
Public
And-
building.
Huh?
Either way.
It's a
Well,
public building.
regardless.
I think regardless, it's, I mean, it's just pretty disgusting and we can't clean it. And it could be 3 years old. In that case, we get a refund. But it's too old to get, and we can try to find out. We did look, good night. We did look and I didn't see any records. We can check the, yeah, see if you can find out. But we had been operating under this assumption the whole time that it's been here since, and that's why we had 2 different colors. The point is that we went, have gone and gotten lots and lots of quotes from various people to redo the carpeting, or rather go to that vinyl plank that a lot of people are using because it's a little more indestructible. It wouldn't carry and harbor all that stuff. I mean, I remember all last winter and that, you know, we have a lady expecting a baby in the building, and the idea of her eyes were red all last winter because we didn't ever know if it was the fibers or what was in it or what it was. We got her an air purifier for her office, and so some people believe that it's just dirty and there's no way we can clean it. That vinyl plank stuff that everybody's using. Oh, I forgot to bring the pictures, but both Pauling and the town of Dover have done it recently and have had wonderful experiences.
Oh, good.
Because, you know, with that stuff, it's great. We don't get a lot of foot traffic, but it is pretty indestructible. And all you have to do is sweep it, and then you can mop it once a week when the staff, the crew comes. And I think it'll look better for a lot longer. We're just checking on warranties and stuff. But anyway, Jake, you want to walk us through some of these quotes and what you were able to find out? Because
So, you know, you've got kind of like my little write-up, and obviously, like everything, you call certain people and they just kind of decline to quote, which is fine. So we have we have 3 in here that are pretty much going for the same thing, that the LVP, you know, luxury vinyl plank in the hallway system out here, just to make it that much simpler, to make it's a nice looking product while still being
oh, yeah, there it is. And this is one of the #1 companies. You want to give them an idea?
yeah, so
Oh,
You want to hold it up? Maybe easier if you hold it up. And then just leave it out and people could look at it. Thank you.
So
yeah, I have some of that at home. It's very nice.
luxury
Yeah.
vinyl plank. Yeah, it's nice. It's pretty indestructible. I had it in one of my apartments for a long time.
You did?
Yeah.
You didn't destroy it?
Did not.
So pass the test. That's
It's very durable.
It's durable. I mean, we're going for durability. Add one if you like. But I go through the pricing. It's
So, I mean, I actually don't have the other side of that one.
oh, you got an old one. Hold on.
But so they, you know, it ranges.
Here.
Thank you. You know, the luxury plank vinyl ranges anywhere from, I mean, some are on the high side, you know, if you guys check out like these guys, you know, they're on the higher side. And then there are a couple that come in with it on like pretty reasonable end, you know, 15, 12. And then we're still awaiting some other ones. What's nice is a couple
No,
of
we're not
these.
waiting. Other ones have that. This is,
Okay.
no, what other ones were there?
I mean, there's some that are
Yeah,
still
never
just
called them back.
never called me back or are
Oh.
still outstanding and have
So-
been
Short
not.
No,
Industries.
let me just cut to the chase on this one. So what happened with this is that it's very hard. Jake is doing a wonderful job trying to get all these quotes. Then we finally called one of the other towns we had heard had done it recently, and they sent us photos, which look, you know, the enlarged, and they do a wonderful job. We have an employee here whose church just recently used the same product, and they were excited. I mean, meaning commercial sized buildings.
Yes.
People use it for their kitchen and stuff, but these have been done on the door. So anyway, what we did was we found this, one of the providers, which I guess we're not saying the name because we don't want to embarrass the people that aren't getting this
Yeah.
bid, but one of the providers, which is I mean, I can say this one because they were the best price. They are on OGS. So we went to OGS to find who we could contact. which
OGS is the state.
State
Comptroller,
bids,
yeah, the
yeah.
state bids.
Right.
So we went there to say who could be contacted and done it because it's quicker, they respond.
Sure.
These people were unbelievable. Tell them about their response times and what they did.
Yeah, I mean, he came out, you know, pretty much, I called on a Thursday, they were here on Monday, and they had me a quote by the end of the week, which is great. There are a couple other people who, you know, took weeks. So that kind of makes me a little bit nervous to say,
Sure.
like, hey, you know, one person might be a slight bit cheaper, but if they are unresponsive, it's a little bit hard to work with people like that. So
Yeah.
having them be on OGS is great, and the Mohawk flooring is kind of, you know, pretty heavy duty
Good stuff,
stuff.
yeah.
So
Well, there's 5 top companies and they're definitely in the top 5. So that's great.
Mm-hmm.
So what we wanted to do was we found this company. They did a great job in another town. They're on OGS, which means that we don't have to wait for more bids.
Right.
Because this price was really good. And they were really prompt and responded to Jake and came over immediately. And I think the idea would be, we'd like to move forward with it. So I don't know how long it's gonna take for the product to get here, but we'd like to move forward to try to get this done as quickly as we can, because the winter is also when that rug is pretty disgusting for people for breathing.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd like to get that done and at least get the order in and see how long it takes. And then we'll have a different cleaning methodology, sweeping and mopping, but you know, instead of vacuuming. But at least we can get it done properly.
Sure.
But what else was it about them? I mean, it's just a matter, it's aesthetics. People can pick, we're just gonna end up having to pick what.
yeah, you guys get to pick what color.
That's probably the hardest part.
I have nothing to do with that.
Yeah,
Just tell them what you guys.
I think you ought to ask the people that are here every day.
yeah. Well,
um,
those are the stickies are from the people that are here every day, so.
But yeah, for me, a lot, it says a lot when a company is super responsive and actually comes out and
Yeah.
is here when they.
You know
tell
they're gonna do the
be
work
here.
properly too.
Yep. So,
It's big, it's a huge mark. I mean, it's amazing the trouble they have pulling, just getting quotes from people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everybody's experiencing it, even at home, I'm sure people are. So we would like to vote on the flooring tonight. We think it's better than carpeting, which gets,
Yeah. No,
yeah,
this
I
is
mean,
smart.
I personally think that the vinyl in the hallways is a way better option.
Yeah, much more durable, cleaner.
we could look at this room in a different year, you know, maybe do things over time.
Yeah.
If we wanted, but I don't think this room is that bad. So one of our approaches was when we get the new hallway floors, we could get a rug cleaner and get them like she used to do, but now we have a new cleaner. You know, get the rugs cleaned up, spruced
Mhm.
up for winter. Okay. All right, would somebody like to make the motion so that we can vote on this?
All right.
And have additional
I will make a
discussion?
motion that we go with RVP Flooring Systems in Carmel, New York, and their bid, which is WO 243-72. Total cost of material and labor at prevailing wage, $15,064.96, as outlined in their September 12th bid.
Thank you. Is there a second for that motion?
Hold on, just
Yeah.
We have
one second, I'm sorry.
No, we have a discussion after the second. Is somebody going to second it?
It's on now.
Second it? Okay, now I have a discussion.
Well, there's a lot of things in this estimate that are not included here, so to budget something for this, there's a lot of unforeseen
Like
costs that might occur.
Yeah, like the
And
portion about moisture.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things in here that could open up a can of worms to change things.
Do we have moisture issues? I didn't know that.
Well, the moisture is
stains.
why we have these stains in the first place, right?
Well, I was told by a couple of these people and that the moisture issues are due to the fact that somebody put that carpeting down on the cement floor without any pad,
Well, that's kind of moisture barrier. Yeah. Well,
without anything, yeah.
that's what they're speaking about here, so. I'm just saying that there could be some other concerns and costs incurred in above this estimate here.
Which part of
You gotta
this,
assume the
Jake,
floor's
look at
pretty
these,
level.
which part of
Okay.
these,
What is that?
You gotta
The
assume
price
it's
includes
pretty
floor
level,
prep.
level.
Mhm.
on skim
they
coating
can
floor
level
only
those
does not
whole thing.
include
They don't
deep
know.
fills, ramping or leveling. Well, we're not gonna have those.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope we should
Judging
level.
judging that it's,
Yes.
this is, yeah, I think the carpet is, you would know what.
I'm just saying there's a lot of things.
Well,
that
let's go
the
Yeah,
through
price-
them.
Yeah, of course.
So let's go through them and see
Yeah.
which ones Jake is concerned about. Attic stock, not applicable.
No.
All work to be completed prevailing wage during normal business hours, that's fine.
Yeah, Fridays.
We
All
require that, yeah.
personable papers and loose items to be removed or boxed up, that we have to clear out the hallway, we're doing that. Owner is responsible for disconnect and reconnect of all electrical devices, computers, phones, covers, but they're not gonna be in offices anyway, it's just the hallway.
So
Yeah, so that's
That's
not an
good.
issue.
So the next one does not include deep fills, ramping, leveling, or removing. Like, we walked it, I was here with him, we walked the whole thing. And it's a really thin carpet with no padding under
Yeah,
it.
so you know it's gotta be kind of level.
Yeah, and he wasn't really concerned with that one.
No
And as
ceiling
far
or
as,
finishing or VCT, what's VCT?
I personally don't
Vinyl,
know.
vinyl, is that the vinyl plank you're talking about?
Yeah, I
No,
think
that's-
so.
that's-
No,
No ceiling of it?
No, VCT would be a ceiling. He didn't seem to think that that was overly necessary.
I didn't put that in our
I-
home when we put it in the kitchen. Did you put that? I didn't put it.
Well, but I mean, it is a concrete surface. So I mean, he did not seem overly worried about it when he was here. He didn't mention
Oh, it
it.
goes on the concrete,
It
not
goes
on the.
before that you put the,
If this
the flooring
product is impervious to water, not impervious, but this water doesn't hurt this product. Not that we get
No,
water.
no,
We haven't had
it's
a
great
leak.
product, I mean. So
Mhm.
something that's not in here, what about the
Let's keep going.
transition from the carpet in the rooms to the hallway, because it's gonna be a different thickness?
Yep. Then that, I mean, he told me that was all included.
Yeah, that's not in here though.
What do you mean? The thing you step
Well,
on, like
The
the,
threshold. Well, there
Yeah,
would
but
be
the door
some
Little-
edges, number 9, door edges.
Oh, yeah.
edges, so that's what that is.
yeah,
That's what he means by that.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, and then does not include moisture or alkali testing, is fine. If installing code base on walls must be smooth and dry. We're not doing that. Oh, we're gonna have the edging along the floor.
Yeah,
That's part of the samples that you
Like
see.
saddle.
Yeah, right there.
Well,
It's
no,
more of
it's like a baseboard.
uh,
It's a
like
baseboard.
the
Baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what-
Yeah,
Yep, they're gonna remove it and put new ones in.
and there's
Put it
the samples.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so it looks
You see
nice.
that brown one out there? I mean, that's how many
Yeah,
inches is that?
more of that
Is that
stuff.
like 4?
Yeah, that's about 4
I think it's similar, okay. Area must be at least 68 degrees, 48 hours prior and 48 hours after installation. I think we can handle that.
What?
As long as it's not summer.
That's right.
Like, I just see the one last thing, it's just sort of, more sure it is. Yeah, I can, he sees the carpet out there.
Yeah, I mean, none of these guys seemed overly phased by what we had going here.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of like, yeah, this is
Okay.
pretty normal stuff.
Is there a more? Yeah.
I would hope there's, I mean, I
There's
can
a-
absolutely ask. I would hope
Well,
there's
we'll
a
get the,
warranty.
we have to ask about the warranty. Mohawk, I did this research before, they have warranties. It's just, we weren't sure, this is what is this, a premium? What are their, so he'll have to tell us exactly how long it's for. I know some of them warranty fading.
Yeah.
They warranty different
Yeah,
things.
the product might
Usually
be
less-
warranted.
Usually less on commercial than
Yeah.
residential. I know that on flooring, like usually less of a warranty on commercial versus residential.
'Cause
But
it's
that's-
gonna
but
get
that's
beat-
standard, that's-
Yeah,
Yeah,
just because it's gonna get, they assume it's gonna get beat up more, yeah.
yeah. But it's not, I mean, it's not as an expensive product as even the carpeting would be, so it's a.
Yeah, I mean, it's
and an
definitely not
uptick
as,
for us.
Right.
it's definitely not as expensive.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, sure.
And it's gonna be more durable.
That's the best part.
Moisture barrier,
And then,
padding.
Yeah.
Or not.
Is there any other discussion? There's a motion.
no, I mean,
and-
or I can I can call him and find out.
No, is there any other discussion? Okay, because there's already a motion and a second on the floor,
Yeah.
so if the discussion's over, I think we should go ahead and vote.
We're good.
All right, okay. All in favor of Councilman Welch's motion,
Aye.
say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, I said aye. Motion carries. All right, and we can review some of these issues that came up, Jake, just you can review them with them, but
Sure.
having gone through the whole list, it looks like you feel like we're in good shape, right?
Yeah.
Good, okay. All right, so that's excellent.
Thanks for all that legwork, Jake.
Oh, I know.
Sure wasn't easy. All those, no callbacks or,
We have one more here. These are for gutters.
yeah, gutters.
Want to talk through those, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before. We did the new garage doors on the long barn. We put all 10 of them in.
Mhm.
We painted the long barn. We
Yeah,
painted
looks good.
the 2 existing doors on the long barn.
Thank God for the drought, right?
Yeah, the best way to kind of keep everything looking as best as it could would be to put 6-inch gutters on that building, the same way we did with the rest of, the park buildings. So I reached out, Peak Skill Seamless is who has done work for us in the past. They did all the gutters on buildings down there now, and they did a good job. They've held up really super well. I reached out to some other people. I got, 2 quotes.
Yeah, he's the same guy that's done work here.
Yeah, it's
before.
nice to have someone you already
He's a guy,
connected.
yeah, he's in charge.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah.
So,
Did you have a question for Jake?
No, we're pretty happy with the choice.
Saying that.
Oh, great. All right. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Make a motion that we use Peak Skill Seamless gutters, quoted amount $3,900.
Great. Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
I just got a question on the gutters. Is it just the front side or front and back?
it's front and back, both sides.
Any other discussion? Councilman McGivney,
No,
you good?
that's it.
You sure? Okay,
Yeah.
anybody else? All right, so we have a motion and a second. No more discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No? Motion carries. All right. Those are 3 very important things. So thank you for coming and presenting that.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for being here late. We appreciate it. Okay. We finished our resolutions and our motions for the evening. I would ask that we have a motion to approve.
Okay,
The bills.
So move.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. So that motion carries as well. We'll pay the bills tomorrow. The beauty of having a Wednesday night meeting. We appreciate that.
Mhm.
If you guys
Yeah.
sign all the vouchers before you leave, it would be appreciated. And lastly, are there any public comments on town issues?
Based upon your description, and this is a document, it sounds like a lot of work into it. You mentioned that it's currently being marked up, and then there's going to be a special meeting to vote on it.
The town board and the planning board has already met and looked, or they're reviewing it now, and then the town board has to approve all the changes, yes.
Assuming that that drive changes the town code, there's not a part of it.
Pardon? A public hearing? There will be a public hearing.
I didn't hear you say that.
No, the same normal procedures follow. Okay, any other question, any comments, rather, sorry, on town issues? Anything anybody wants to comment on? No? Okay. Well, we got a lot done. We appreciate that, guys. That was very helpful. If there's no other business at hand, I think we should, I'll move to adjourn the meeting. Is there
So
a
move.
second?
Yeah.
All right,
Sounds
all in
good.
favor of adjourning.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Now, don't forget, our next meeting is going to be at 7 o'clock. Again,
Yes.
this is budget season.
Right. Yep,
So
the
we'll have a
next 2
budget,
meetings.
see if there's any more comments. We're going to get called to have a special meeting between now and then,
Mhm.
okay? And that is to finalize TC stuff,
Good.
all right?
Yeah.
And then we'll review the budget at the same time. I'm hoping that happens soon.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, we'll try to keep it on a Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah.
Next Wednesday.
Okay, so next Wednesday, I'm gonna see where the planner is. Kevin, you good for that? We'll try to get it
After
next
6:15,
Wednesday.
yeah, 6:15, 6:30 is better for me, but.
Yeah, we're trying to do everything at 6:30, since you said that. And if you walk in 5 minutes late, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I don't want to miss anything, so.
Yeah,
So
no,
next Wednesday?
well, I was gonna let you know after I talked to you. Could you put a hold on next Wednesday on your calendars?
Yeah.
Put a hold on, would you, Kev?
On what?
A
Next
hold on
Wednesday,
next
week from
Wednesday.
tonight.
I don't know.
28th.